Hey guys, what's up and welcome. It's Matthew here, the designer and developer from South Africa. This is a series, an interesting one, where I explain in details how I've developed this awesome accounting system. In case you are new here, this is a continuation. Maybe you want to see the demonstration of the application. You can see this is the first video. Here, I am showing you exactly how the application works. Okay, so in this video we are going to talk about the folder structure. So let me just give you some sort of a brief or show you a demo of how the quotation works. So as you can see here, you can choose a client, and then from choosing a client you can choose an item. So as you can see, when choosing an item you can choose quantity. Okay, and all the quantities, they are being adjusted automatically. Sorry, the totals. Okay, as you can see, this is 258 and this is 250. So let's just create a code for demonstration purposes. Okay, let's say it's 258. Let's create the code. So when the code has been created, you can check it here on quotations. Okay, so if you look at quotation, where is 258? So if you look at quotation, here is 258. So this means that the quotation has been created. So in case, let's say, the client comes back and makes some changes and you don't have enough time to make those changes, so you can leave some messages for the rest of your team. Let's say um at Temba. Okay, Temba is just an African name. Okay, I won't bother myself explaining to you what it means, because most African names, specifically in South Africa where I'm from, they are taken from our ancestors. Some others have complicated meanings. Okay, I've just noticed that by watching Western movies, I realized that the Western guys are a bit lazy. Okay, these guys, the grandfather was John and the father is John and you are John. They just put some random numbers there: John the third, John the first. Guys, I feel like that's a bit lazy. When it comes to African, we've got complicated names. Okay, but anyway, we are one people. Okay, we are essentially the same, guys. Okay, and I don't have a problem with other people naming them John. Enough about that. That was not even part of this tutorial, but I was just sharing who I am and what I do and where I'm from. I am an African. Okay, so let's continue, guys. So let's say I'm addressing Temba here. Okay, please, is it please? Okay, please make some changes. Okay, so Temba will make some changes. So let me just save this. Okay, let's just see. As you can see, guys, this is my message. And also you can shoot a comment below. Tell me, based on your where you're coming from, your country, are you Western, are you African? How do you guys come up with names? Are they complicated or are they simple? I heard by Trevor Noah, a comedian, that some people, they give name to children like Harparts, like Break and Wilpa, Wipers, and all those funny car parts. Okay, so just shoot a comment below and let me know, how do you guys name people. So as you can see, guys, I've demonstrated to you this code part. Okay, so enough about that. Let's get into the folder structure, right? Okay, folder structure. Okay, it sounds like a complicated, I'm not sure, topic, but believe me, it's not complicated. I am going to break this complication down into its simplest form. So where does it start? Okay, the first tip that I'm going to give you is a folder structure. It's a personal preference. It just happens that you will, or you are part of the team. Okay, it just happens that you are part of the team. You are working for a certain company, and in that company, as a company, there is a consensus that things should be done this way. It doesn't mean that's a tradition. It doesn't mean that's how things are supposed to be done, but it's such that that's what they prefer. Let me just give you an example. I've worked for a company where the CTO has some sort of a funny layout for Visual Studio Code, and he was insisting that I need to some sort of open his own template, some sort of extract it. He shared it with me. Okay, it's sometimes a small file. you come here to Visual Studio Code. I'm not sure, I forgot, guys. It was a long time ago. The reason why, it's not necessarily I forgot. I really didn't care much about it. I don't want to lie. I'm not a big fan of customizing the layout. I will tell you why. I will tell you why, guys. Otherwise, if somebody is a big fan of making cursive fonts and changing colors and changing layouts with respect, okay, I don't have a problem with that. Okay, so you just come here and you will open, I'm not sure if it's a workspace or whatever, okay, and then the layout will change according to your boss's preference. So the first thing that you should some sort of try to get here is that it's a personal preference. Do whatever you want. Okay, maybe on YouTube we present it as some sort of a default, the best way, the advanced folder structure. There is no such a thing. Stick with me, I'll make you famous, I'll take you places to see different faces. I am going to give you the real thing. So let's start with, okay, what can I say, with how Visual Studio Code looks. Okay, let's say the layout and fonts, or the layout and style, let's say. Okay, so this is my personal preference, this is what I like. Okay, I'm not a firm believer of a complicated layout. Okay, folder structure starts from here. Why do we get into the folder structure? Why do we have a certain folder structure? For me, it's for dev experience. So as I am working on the code, okay, it's not like it's a tradition, okay, but I keep on changing it according to the dev experience. Okay, it's like building a house with what can I say, with what can I say, with a bedroom in the kitchen room and a dining room in the bedroom, with things um that we are not familiar, things that are not in some sort of default places. Okay, so if you can do that, if I can find my clothes inside the fridge and whatever in a different place, it's going to drain my energy, it's going to drain my mental energy. Okay, as you can see, guys, that's not going to be some sort of a nice experience. The same thing happens with the folder structure. Okay, you build your folder structure according to your own experience. If for some reason for you this app doesn't work, maybe you like SRC, you can choose that when you are creating your Next.js application. If maybe let's say you don't like this root folder, you can choose it as you want. So I hope I have given you the freedom to do it the way you want. So let's get back to this. Okay, my tip will be, don't make advanced complications on Visual Studio Code layout. Okay, for instance, don't get used to this panel being on the right, and what else, this menu changing it differently, simply because your code will grow and your project will become bigger. You will some sort of get some other people to work on your code. Okay, you will share the code. Okay, for me, it's better when you stick to the basics, because the basics are, everybody is familiar with it. Okay, if you've got some cursive fonts here, too much styles, and then now you will force the rest of the team to adhere to that, because maybe whenever you open their own files, the theme might be different. So you will have a strict rule that everybody must use your own way of doing things. So for me, I don't want to lie, I was annoyed with that. Okay, if a developer changes the fonts and make them cursive, changes the default color to red, pink, and yellow, this panel is somewhat on the right, I always feel like, dude, that you didn't have to be that extensive in rearranging the layout. I always feel like, no, man, there is a certain level of arranging the layout beyond this normal standard. I always regard that developer as childish. Okay, you are going to waste somebody else's time trying to be familiar with your own layout. So it's all about dev experience. Avoid things that are going to take away from me when I'm dealing with your code. including the layout, including the fonts. Okay, for me, I always stick with Visual Studio Code's default, okay, for dev experience. Let's get into the folder structure, okay? As I've said before, folder structure, it's your personal preference. But let me just give you my own 2 cents on what are you looking for. So as I am building Matthew, building my application, what are the things that I'm looking for, okay, in order to some sort of what can I use as a basis for my own folder structure preference, okay? Obviously, I don't have a list on top of my head, so I'm just going to throw some random thoughts, okay, around folder structure, okay? Okay, cool. So this is what I do. Number one, I do not care much about the naming. Okay, what do I mean by that? You will have some other people in their folder structure, they have types, a folder named types. Okay, some other people, they have a folder called lib. Some, they have a folder called utils. Some, they've got a folder called helpers. Okay, my advice for you is don't be caught up into those complicated terms. Okay, it might happen they just mean the same thing. That's a possibility. It might happen they mean complicated things. That's a possibility. Okay, so for me, I would say write the name that you are familiar with. Okay, what's the use of writing utils that when you are creating your project, working on your code, you always forget if your functions or your helpers are under utils? You keep on forgetting it. Okay, remember, the stress that you are putting into your mind for now, it's unnecessary. This is your own project. Okay, here you want to learn. Okay, you don't really want to learn the folder structure. That might change based on different companies. Okay, so for now, avoid fancy industry terms. As you know, on the internet now or these days or on YouTube, we've got complicated folder structures. We even have some YouTube on folder structure, Next.js folder structure like a pro. What if what you are teaching me, telling me that it's like for a pro, it's tough for my brain to understand it. Okay, as you can see that you will be suffering unnecessarily. Okay, so avoid fancy terms. Okay, you don't have to have a folder util, you don't have to have a folder API, you don't have to. Write what is meaningful to you. That's my first tip. Okay, so meaning that you are free from all the terms, complex terms and whatever. Remember, history is being read, but at the same time is being written. Okay, it might happen. Whoever came up with this folder structure is not effective. Maybe you are the guy who is going to come up with a different folder structure and not only change how you do things, but change the rest of the world. Okay, so let's continue. Number one, grab the freedom of naming your folders the way you want. Okay, cool. Number two, don't approve the structure based on how neat and pretty it is. It doesn't have to. I remember when I was still new in React and Next.js, I used to see some beautiful folder structures. They're just neat and they are beautiful. Like when you look at them, you can easily see that, okay, I've got helpers here, I've got what can I say, components here, I've got utils, I've got types here, and I have fallen into a trap of thinking that those are like some sort of the best folder structures because I can easily see like where things are. It turned out that is not the case. Okay, that is not the case. Let me just give you some sort of a brief example as to show you that is not the case. Okay, let's say I've got a login form, I've got a login page and a registration page. Okay, registration page. Okay, cool. I might have a folder called pages, and then inside, remember, we're adopting the style or the neatness approach. We're taking the neatness approach. Okay, you just need to know that these are pages, and then inside the pages, I've got login and log out. Okay, remember inside login there are forms there. Okay, so if you want things to be neat, you will always push your forms inside pages because you view your application according to routes. Okay, what do I mean according to routes? If this is login, let's say, let me just log out. If this is login, okay, you view your files or your folders as route. So meaning that if this is / sign in, okay, you will have sign in here. Okay, cool. Now let's say you want a component inside sign in, which is this form. Okay, now if you push this component inside this let's say you are page oriented, if you push this form inside a page sign in, it means that your brain won't recognize forms. It only recognizes pages. So if you want a form, it will mean that you have to remember that in which page is this form in. Now you are starting to make some mental computations there, or you are starting to use your memory, to rely on your memory. Okay, because now instead of looking for this form, you need to look for pages. I hope you are starting to see what I'm trying to say. Obviously, for now, it looks like a minor thing, but believe me, once you get into developing your application, you will look for a user registration form or a user add form. But you cannot search for a user add form here. Let's say you cannot search user for a user add form here because you have pages. Okay, you want it to be nice and neat. Okay, so let me show you a different approach contrary to the idea of pages. Okay, for me, I don't really focus on pages much, rather than I'm taking a component driven approach. Let's say I'm here, I want the sign in form. Okay, I don't really recognize this as a page. I recognize this as component, and I can start from the smallest building blocks. Okay, so what I will do, if I want this form, I will come here. Okay, remember, I am component driven or oriented. This is a form, right? So what I will do, let's say I'm new in this code. Okay, I will be like, okay, what form is this? I think this is a sign in form. That's what I think. Okay, now let's check how quick and how easy am I going to locate and get this form. As a developer, I know this is a form. Is that true? Yes, of course. This is a form. In case you don't know this is a form, then I would like to say go and learn Web 101. Okay. So I know this is a form and I'm looking for this form. Check here. Based on how I structure my things, I will just come here and search for form. Okay. Let's see what will happen there. As you can see, this is form code. From signing, I am not page oriented. I'm not all about the neatness here. It's tight, it's tidy, it's neat, everything it's here. That might not be the case. Okay, as much as you want your work to be structured and well organized, but use that structure, consume it, see how much of mental energy is being consumed. Okay, how much of your memory is it using? Okay, so after trying the neat structure and whatever, I realized that it's some sort of it's not the best dev experience because I keep on forgetting. So if I want a form here, I might be like, okay, it looks like these are all the forms. So as you can see, my naming convention, okay, is to some sort of prefix the files with the component. Let's say I want an input. What's going on here? It means that this has got something to do with an input. Okay, this happened to be a met input. What's a met input? I've decided to create my own form library. More about that later. Okay, it's some sort of an advanced form library, which is, I could say, 10 times better than ShaDCN's form. Okay, more about that later, guys, but this is very efficient. It's straight to the point. If ShaDCN form has got 40 lines, this one has got only 4 lines. More about that later. So as you can see, guys, I'm more like component driven. So I was looking for a sign-in form. I will just come here and search for forms. Okay. And then I think, guys, this looks like sign up form. Okay. So as a developer, if you could struggle to locate forms like this one, for real, I will get puzzled as to what else do you need. Okay. So as you can see, so it's either it's this way of doing things which has got nothing to do with pages, and inside those pages we've got whatever. There is no nice and neat here. Okay, it might happen when you look at this folder structure. Maybe you are puzzled, you feel like it's not too much and it's not revealing. Okay, of course, because my approach is to some sort of search for things. Okay, is to search for things. Okay, as you can see, so I'm trying to say your folder structure doesn't have to be nice and neat. Use it and see how much of a mental, I'm not sure, stress or strain is it exerting to your brain, and then modify accordingly. Okay, so let me get to another tip. Okay, try to group. No, let me start with this one. Okay, forget about grouping. Let me start with this one. I think I was watching a video by the guy Can't See Dot. Yes, he's prominent in React. I consume a lot of his content. Okay, he was talking about something interesting about call location. Okay, something that I started implementing after watching his own videos. Okay, so he was saying, if let's say I've got a page, okay, maybe let me be practical here without making some, what can I say, out of context example. Okay, so let me just come here. Let's see, let's go to sign up or sign up. Okay, so this is a page, this is a route which is sign up. Okay, as you can see, guys. Okay, um a page is not a form. I hope you understand that. Okay, this is a page. It has got also this component. Okay, this, for it has got also light and dark. This is a page, so it's a separate file. This is a form component. These are two different things. But what I've decided to do, some other people, this is the approach that I don't take. Okay, I'm not discrediting it. If it works for you, uh, happy birthday. Okay, so use it. I'm just trying to say, okay, if it works for you. But for me, instead of having a file, a folder here called forms, something like this is still the neat approach. Okay, so the neat guys will do this. Okay, we'll have a folder called forms here, and we'll put all the forms here. I've tried it before, guys. It never worked for me. It's confusing. Okay, so now, I think my tip, my next tip, or the following tip, it's call location. I think it's centered around call location. What do I mean by call location? If this page, it's sign up, why don't you put the sign up form inside this folder in the same place? Okay, in some sort of in it's in a close proximity, like in a, I'm not sure if in a close, a shorter radius. Like if we were talking about the map here, I would say in a certain radius. Okay, but what I'm trying to say, the core location approach or principle is saying keep similar things in a close range. Okay, so meaning that when I am in this page, in this route, okay, app, this auth, and in this route sign up page, I also get a sign up form next to it. I am importing just like next to it. Okay, why must I take this form and put it somewhere here on forms? Okay, let's say I'm inside pages. Let's say I'm inside sign up, working on this page. Let's say this is not here. I'm working here, working, and I realize that I've got sign up form and I want to make changes here. One of the ways to quickly get this is to go to definition. Okay, let's see. Go to definition, go to source definition. Let's try this. This even also doesn't work. Okay, I don't know why. Maybe to you it will quickly work, and also it might happen you know why it's not working. Please guys, shoot a comment below. Okay, I'm also learning. The other guy on this, I think here there is a comment here that told me about refresh token, something that I know nothing about, and I told the guy that I'm going to learn something about. I'm going to make a research. Thank you so much for making that comment. So guys, I'm trying to say I'm not the guru. Okay, I'm not that guy who comes here with all the answers. I don't have all the answers, believe me. So maybe you might teach me a thing or two here, but back to the matter at hand. I was saying, let's say I'm working here and I want this form. Okay, then what I will do, let's say it's inside forms. Okay, let's say I'm doing it the traditional way. I will come here and look for forms. To me, that's a problem. I'm looking, okay, for forms. To me, that's a problem. You really don't have to look for forms. If you have applied the principle of co-location, you will know that the forms, it's here in the same place. I'm looking for forms. I just come here and get the sign up form. Okay. So somebody might feel like maybe you can, I don't know why this is not happening. You can, let's see, util, okay, this, you can just come here and go to, let's say, I don't think this is implementation. Okay, let's see, go to definition. This is not here. Okay, let me just make an example with this logo. Okay, as you can see guys, now I can quickly go to this component and see what I can do. Okay, but check here guys, this is the drawback or what I don't like. Look at where I am not here. So meaning that if I want the file where this is, I will have to look up and down here, up and down here, up and down here, and find this under app component. To me, if you are continuing with your project, when it's a small project, it's easy, you know. I've got my headers on one folder, I've got my forms on one folder, I've got my pages on one folder. It's nice and neat, it's cool. It won't be confusing to another developer. You are 100% correct, it won't be confusing to another developer, but it's going to drain his mental energy because he has to move up and down the code. There's a guy called what his name? He's a famous guy. I'm not supposed to forget him. Now I feel some sort of ashamed or embarrassed for forgetting him. I think let's say Bob, maybe the name will come up. Bob C. Martin. This guy. Okay. This guy once said in his videos, okay, I think he's got a book called Clean Code. Okay. He has got a lot of talk on clean code. Okay. He once said we spend most of our developer time moving up and down the code. Okay, that was a long time ago when I watched that video. Well, I kind of some sort of understood what he was saying, but obviously I was new. I didn't really practically understand it. Okay, as I am growing in the industry, I realize that if I am adopting the neat approach where I've got a folder called forms, I've got a folder called components, I've got a folder called utils, I've got a folder called, now I've got a long list of folders. That's what I'm going to do. This logo here, it's somewhere like down on the 15th file or on the 15th folder. But where are you using it? I'm using it somewhere here. As you can see, guys, I'm moving up. No, I'm wrong. Down and up, or up and down, up and down. This, when you are creating an application, start to work on your mental energy. Okay, you need to recall. Okay, so in my previous project I took time to finish them. Some of them, they were frozen. What do I mean by frozen? Look, me and the client didn't get to the finish line. And whose fault is it? It was my fault. It was Matthew's fault. Okay, as I'm working on a project, it became complicated. Okay, so now I spend a lot of time trying to find files. Okay, this problem didn't only happen to me in my side projects, it even happened at work. I was once employed as a front end engineer, and I was plugged and played into a big code, not spaghetti. I respect it was not spaghetti, but it was big. But the folder structure was not organized in such a way that I easily locate files. Okay, like I will work on this file, and as you can see, this is the file. You will realize that this file, it's like where I'm using it somewhere here. So it was a bit of a problem to me. So instead of working on solving the problems that I was given, guys, they were very simple, if I can be honest. We wanted to change or migrate from Bootstrap to Tailwind CSS. The Next.js application was designed with Bootstrap. So we wanted to change it to Tailwind CSS. So the first thing that we wanted to change, it was theming, okay? And we decided to change like one component at a time, or like we decided to tackle it from smaller components to the entire application. Okay, so maybe I will be given a task of, okay, fine, look for this bar component. Okay, but in my case it was a nav bar. Let's say this nav bar or this bar component. So it was a component like this one. Look for it and some sort of make changes. To me, that was a problem. Okay, look for it. I always ask myself, why do I have to look for it? Okay, like why do I have to look for it? Okay, so instead of looking for it, Matthew, what were you supposed to do? I'm thinking if the code was well architectured, it was well structured, you were supposed to tell me where it is. So if you don't know where it is, that means the code or the way it has been structured, it's draining, it's consuming a lot of your memory. As a result, you are a human being. I am Matthew, the designer and developer, only on YouTube or on Udemy. Talking about a Udemy, in case you might want to learn more, I've got some Udemy courses here: React Advanced Component Composition, and also Next.js Shadesy and UI. So please, guys, if you might think of supporting me, I've got these courses here. You can come here on Udemy and search my name, Matthew. This is not my surname, by the way. It's my African name, Msingati. It means to comfort, at least an African name that is short. Okay, at least thanks to my mother. Okay, but our African names, they are usually a bit longer. Enough about that, guys. So I am Matthew Msingati on Coded Design on YouTube and Udemy. In my private life, I'm an uncle. I've got, like, I'm not sure how many nieces, a lot of them. I even lost count. Okay, so these guys, they come back from school asking me mathematics. The other one asked me now, like exponent, what exponent. I've got a lot of things that I'm dealing with. Okay, so on top of that, I've got uh, a dog that has got some puppies now. So as you can see, guys, I'm a human being, so I might forget. And my question for you is, or to you is, why do you create a folder structure that is not easy for your brain to recall? Self-sabotage, isn't it? So in this company, I was told to find the component. And my question is, why don't you tell me where the component is? If you don't or you can't, it means that the architecture, it's not, it's bad. Okay, it's bad. Okay, you have a neat code or a neat structure that is no longer working. It doesn't have to be neat. The folders don't have to be neat. They just have to be functional. What do I mean by functional? Well, by the way, functional is just a word that I've made up. Okay, what do I mean by functional? It's easy to recall and easy to locate. Simple. I know, I'm supposed to know where this is. Okay, so I hope you are starting to get the idea, okay, of folder structure. And in my own approach, I am some sort of putting more power on you than, let's say, a guy who's working at Facebook. He came up with this folder structure. I don't believe that. I believe in you crafting your own some sort of folder structure. It must be functional. Use it and see how much time do you spend looking for code. So back to the matter of my employment. So we were just changing from Bootstrap to Tailwind. So I had to find this component, okay? So I have to move up and down the code trying to find it, okay? So if I'm searching header here, header, I won't get it, okay? If I'm searching here, header, I won't get it. So I have to look up and down the code and try to check where it is, okay? So if I'm saying I don't really have to search for it and find it, somebody might can tell me where is it, it is. Mel, someone might feel like, Matthew, you want to be spoon-fed, okay? Well, that's a part one of it. Maybe I do want to be spoon-fed, but there's also part two of it, okay? Part one, it's you telling me, look, check in this folder, in components folder, you will find this navbar or topbar component and use it and change it from there. Kumbaya, that is being spoon-fed. But there is another way. Still, this guy once talked about this. I think he said your code need to be self-expressive. Okay. Maybe so what can I say? Maybe I'm misquoting him. But in that talk, he was saying when he looks at a code, he wants the code to explain itself. Powerful. And when he was teaching that, I really didn't get what he was trying to say. Now, obviously, I'm not going to give you 100% of what he was saying, but I would like to believe 40% of the meaning of what he was saying, I am going to explain it to you. Let's say I'm here. Okay. Let me just jump to quotations. Okay. Let me just jump to quotations. Let's say at work I was told to change something here. Okay, on quotation. Let's say we're changing something here. My first what can I say, guess will be there in the code there is a page quotation. If in the code there is a page quotation, that means the code or the architecture or the application is somewhat designed in such a way that it aligns with my mental model. Okay. It's like I must assume and predict things, and they must always be like that. Okay. It must not be against my own instinct or how I naturally think about code. So remember, we want to get here. Okay. In my company, the one that I was employed in, I was told to find it. And I was like, I think this is wrong. Okay, cool. So let's go to the code. Go to the code. Obviously, I know I know some of the things about the code, but I hope, guys, as much as I know a thing or two about the code, I hope you will get the essence. Okay. So I know that here on root, this is where all my folders are. Okay. Let's see, oh yes, I'm correct. Okay, as you can see, under root I've got dashboard here. Okay, so dashboard, I'm supposed to have code here. Here is code, guys. Okay, cool. So meaning that I've got a route here, which is code, and even here I can even see it from here. Okay, I'm sort of lazy to read here, but if you look at here, this is some sort of a path to this page. Cool. When I am in this page, okay, when I'm in this page, remember, I'm looking for this. When this is a form, okay, when I'm in this page, do you expect me to look to a folder that is 15 folders down this page, or you are expecting this form to be somewhere inside this page or very close to this page? I would like to assume everybody might think of this form which is inside this page. If it's not inside the page, it's supposed to be in close proximity. Let's go and check that. If that happens, then the code is somewhat self-expressive. I think that's what Bob C. Martin, is he Bob C. Martin? Sorry. But I think I used to search him by Mr. Bob C. Martin. Okay, yes, I think so. Oh, Robert, not Bob. My mistake. Okay, here is the actual name for this guy. Okay, I know it as Mr. Bob. I think he's famous for that name. I think he's called Mr. Bob in the industry. Oops. Is he not Mr. Bob? Yes. Oh, Uncle Bob. My apologies. He's not Mr. Bob. He's Uncle Bob. Okay. It's been a while since I watched his videos, but his videos has have played sort of an pivotal role, an essential role on helping me to understand things. Okay, so he's Uncle Bob. My apologies. Okay, he's Robert C. Martin, not Bob C. Martin. My mistake. Okay, but at least you can see the guy. Okay, you can see him right there. Okay, where was I? Okay, so he said the code need to be self-expressive. Okay, so inside code here, okay, inside code here, okay, I've got a page which is code I know by Next.js. I've got a page called code, but without even moving up and down the code in the same folder, in the same route, I've got form code here. Okay, as you can see, guys, I've got form code here. So I would like to believe I am where I want to be. Okay, did I needed somebody to some sort of spoon feed me? No. Did I needed somebody to guide me? No. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, find a way to structure your code in such a way that it works with my mental model, not against it. Okay, I hope you do get the point when I'm saying you don't really have to come up with a neat code. A neat code doesn't equate to a clean code. Okay, a neat code, okay, let me just quickly get into that. A neat code, it's a code where you've got components, okay, which are always imported, like this met form. Okay, this is my library. Like this met form, you will have another component like a select. You will have those remember, sometimes it's not necessary to extract these components to a very far place, common place, which is called component. Sometimes you don't have to. Okay, a neat code, a clean code doesn't mean neat sometimes. Okay, for at least for me, okay, you might have a code that looks complicated like this, but when you are using it, you'll feel like this guy has decided to put everything in one place. Okay, and then when I want something, I don't go to a folder called component to make this maybe now, as it is like more than 145 lines, he has made it to be 5 lines. Okay, everything has been extracted out. You need to consume your code, you need to use it and see how much of mental energy is it consuming. Okay, so when I started, I used to get lost in my own code. My own code used to be frustrating, but as time goes by, um, I'm becoming better. Okay, I'm starting to love my own code, because even after 2 weeks, when I want something, I won't rely on my memory. I will rely on my on my instinct. Okay, if I want quotation, I go to the folder, to the route quotation, and if I want a quotation, a form quotation, I will find it there. Okay, I think, guys, this video has been long. Okay, it has been long. Okay, and I think I have covered a lot of things. Okay, I spoke my heart. I think I've covered a lot of things that might help you to really think about coding. I have mentioned, like, what can I say, prominent and helpful people in the industry, like Uncle Bob and Kent C. Dodds. Okay, it's this guy. Okay, this guy. Okay, this guy has one of his videos where he was talking about co-locations. Okay, I only heard that concept like from him, and I some sort of implemented it immediately, and I've tried to understand what is he trying to say and how can I implement it, and I found that to be something very useful. Okay, I co-locate now. Okay, including like now with what can I say, in closing with my React query. Okay, this is what I used to do, guys, and it drained my energy. Okay, I used to have React query module outside a page where I'm using them. That was a very silly thing. I was obsessed with a clean code. I wanted, like, I always felt like if this could be like from 200 to at least 70 lines. Okay, so I will always take everything out until I realize that that is draining my energy. Because what I will do now when I'm working on the code, this is what I will do, guys. I will read this line, this line. When I want to fix this, this is not here. I must go somewhere where it is. Okay, then continue. When I'm here, this form schema, I want the form schema. It's not here. It's somewhere on, because it's neat, yes, but I think it's failing because the dev experience, it's awful. Okay, it's raining. So I will go 2 lines down the line. I want this variable, the form method is not here, it's somewhere. So I realized that I spend most of my time moving up and down the code, up and down the code, up and down the code. I am Matthew Msingati, the designer and developer from South Africa. Please don't forget that I've got also another channel, which is Coded UI, where I will teach you how to use Figma and design awesome UIs. Okay, in case you might want to support me, please don't forget I've got this course, React Advanced Component Composition with TypeScript, and also Next.js CN UI. Okay, so I think I have covered a lot of things. Okay, and I'm hoping this was plain English. Okay, I hope I have not been sophisticated for no reason. Okay, for the sake of what can I say, to look professional. To I really don't care about that. I really don't like to use the word I don't care. But in this case, guys, I think please allow me. Okay, it is befitting for me to use that name. Okay, or that line. To be honest, I really don't care. I don't have to be to sound professional. I'm not interested in that. I want to be, what can I say, relatable. I'm just like you. Okay, so I'm trying to say, I'm hoping this was plain English. I've managed to share some thoughts, some light. I've managed to give you a different perspective, the one that empowers you rather than following a React guy, a React developer, which is working for Amazon. Okay, where you will adopt or adapt a folder structure that doesn't work for you. Okay, and also that doesn't play a role on improving your dev experience. Okay, I think this is the right word, developer experience. Okay, as you are working on the code. Otherwise, for me, don't stay neat. Okay, because a neat code doesn't translate to a clean code. It took me time to understand that. Okay, that neat doesn't translate to clean. Okay, so don't stay neat, but stay clean as you are. So I mean lean. Okay, like write a lean and a clean code, a code that you care about, a code that you might want to come back to tomorrow, and also next week, and also next week. I'm Matthew Msingati. I'm the designer and developer. Thank you so much for watching this video. Okay. In closing, recently in my channel, I think it's somewhere here in this video. I hope it's not going to play. I apologize about that. I really apologize. I thought I was going to stop it before it plays. Okay. Recently in these videos, a very generous brother decided to, I don't even know what this is. Okay, it's so sad. Okay, but I'm learning YouTube. I'm still new in YouTube, but somebody donated. Okay, that's what I mean. Okay, this brother donated. Okay, as you can see, guys, I think it's a super thanks. I think so. Okay, I was not really aware of it. I didn't know if it exists. Okay, so if you might want to, I'm not sure, spread some love, uh, give me a little token of appreciation, please, guys, you can follow this brother who has some sort of decided to thank me. Okay, and the reason why I'm mentioning him or mentioning this, I didn't know. Okay, as you can see, when I get into YouTube, I focus on very like small things. I'm also still learning the platform. So please, guys, my brother, thank you so much for assisting me. Okay, I know this is like out of your heart. To me, it means a lot. Okay, as a guy who's just a South African designer and a developer. So enough about that, guys. So I was just trying to say, if you really know what this is, okay, I think it's a super thanks. Okay, if you know something different with it, which is maybe a super chat, okay, I still have to learn YouTube and understand the terms. Please feel free to use them and support the channel so that I can keep on doing what I do best and what I love. I am Matthew Msingati, the designer and developer. In closing, Msingati, it's an African name. It means to comfort. I hope I somewhat relate or reflect my own name. See you on the next one. Stay blessed.